This segment of ScentBlocker Most Wanted is brought to you by the Whitetail Institute of North America. Deer nutrition is all we do. And by...
It's only been a couple of hours into the opening morning of muzzleloader elk season, and our old friend Doug Byrd is about to have some cows walk right up and say howdy.
Well, in the deer season of 2006, I was up at my farm deer hunting, had a bunch of my friends up there. I'd already shot myself a really nice buck that year. I was having a great time. I'd gone home for one day to visit my wife, turn around, came back the next day. I was headed back up to my farm to meet all my buddies, my brother. About a 3-hour, 45-minute drive. I'd made it about 3 hours and 30 minutes of it. I was driving down Highway 36, which is a dual-lane highway. They had the westbound lanes closed and had everybody forced over to two-way traffic on the eastbound lanes. I was driving along right on the crest of a hill. I met a gentleman who was passing a tractor trailer right on the crest of the hill, and we had a 70-mile-an-hour head-on collision. As soon as I saw that car at the crest of that hill, I just knew my life was over.
We're gonna try and inch up on this bull. We got one behind us, one here. I done called these cows in and they went that way. We should be able to get in here if we don't bust him. You guys keep your ears open and quiet right behind you.
This big bull still up on the ridge bugling at us. So at that point, once the cows got far enough away from us, Larry's like, "Hey, we're gonna have to go after this bull." He says, "Let's pack up and let's head up this ridge. We got to get up there now." I went and seen a surgeon in the emergency room, and he had x-rayed my foot and take a look at it, and he came back out. And the good news was I didn't have any really life-threatening injuries, but he said my foot was crushed to a point that he didn't have any idea how anyone would be able to get it put back together. And you know, certainly amputation was a consideration at that point. Probably a week or two later, I went and seen a surgeon in St. Louis. He took a look at my ankle and my foot, and he'd said in all the years of his practice, it was the worst accident of that type that he had seen. He gave me a couple of options at that point. He said a lot of surgeons wouldn't even attempt this type of operation because the recovery period was so long and so difficult, but he would certainly attempt it on me. It was that or amputation. So I elected with the long, hard recovery period. They did the operation, fused my ankle, put a bunch of steel plates and screws in my ankle at that point, and then the long, hard recovery period started. Yeah, that one was a little too small. That's a nice bull, but just a little too small for us. We're looking for something just a little bit bigger. Was exciting though.
This segment of ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by IQ. Center the dot for the perfect shot. Block Black. One tough target. Glendale, because there's only one chance at a big buck. ScentBlocker Most Wanted has been brought to you by Winchester Rifles and Shotguns. Diamondback Truck Covers. It's your truck. Use it. Gilbreth's Taxidermy, the official taxidermist of ScentBlocker Most Wanted.
So we're cruising back, you know, the second morning, and I'm making it pretty darn good. I'm pretty impressed. I'm proud of myself. I'm like, hey, I'm rolling along this morning. I think I'm going to make it. We finally get all the way back in the back, and we hear our first bull answer. I'm like, okay, here we go. Game on. Larry's having a little trouble walking slow enough for me. And I'm doing my best to keep up. Get set up, he calls, and this bull's coming. Well, there's this big, huge brush pile right in front of us, between us and the bull, and Larry's thinking this bull's going to come out on the right-hand side. So we get over here on the right-hand side, we get all set up. He calls one more time. Bull answers. Well, now it's kind of down in this hollow to the left of us. So we have to, you know, pull up, run down to the other side of this brush pile to get all set up, because we think this thing's going to come right around the end of the brush pile. So we're sitting there all set up. He calls again. Well, now at this point, this bull is directly on the other side of the brush pile from us. It's probably not 30 feet from us. Again, we're sprayed. We got our ScentBlocker clothes on. We're sprayed down. Thank God this thing didn't smell us. You can hear it breathing, it's so close. Well, this elk comes strolling out from behind the brush pile then, and goes walking across this little ridge out about 50 or 60 feet in front of us. Larry gives him a little cow call and he stops, broadside 60 yards. As soon as the gun goes off, smoke, can't see anything. Things clear out a little bit. Here I see the elk. Well, he only walked maybe 40 yards from where I had shot him and fell.
The first ever big game animal taken with a new LHR Redemption Muzzleloader by Mr. Doug Byrd. Wow. He's laying right there. You talk about put the whop on him.
For you muzzleloading enthusiasts, this is a gun that's going to take the muzzleloading market by storm in 2013. And just let me show you some of the features of the Redemption here that is different than any other modern muzzleloader on the market today. There's no hammer on this. It's got a slide safety that once you break this gun open and put a cap on it and close it, this little mechanism right here, by sliding it forward, you are ready to fire. No hammer. let's say you don't want to shoot. All you got to do is push in that button, slide it back, and you are back on safety. That is incredible. Now also, when it comes to the breech plug, there are no screws on the ID of the barrel, which means on the inside, that can get fouled with powder, and you know how they get nasty in there to get your breech plug out. It has two different kinds of inner breeches. One designed for loose powder and one for pellets. Well, Doug, you're officially an elk killer.
I tell you, that's awesome, man. That thing's a lot bigger than I thought they were. Hey, he's a giant.
When you've never walked up on anything but a dead whitetail before, it's just a shock.
Yeah, it is. It is. Man.
The bad thing is we're in a walk-in only area and we're 2.5 miles from the truck. But we'll forget about that after we get him back in. But man, I'm so proud of you that you was able to bear with that bad foot and get back in here. So
I was determined I was going to make the most of it. This is a dream of mine. It has been for my, lifetime dream. My father, he was a hunting, fishing fanatic, and he instilled a love of the outdoors with me. It's a dream of his to go elk hunting someday. He instilled that in me. It's been a dream of mine my entire life, and Dad, this one's for you.
The show's about ScentBlocker's Most Wanted, and Doug's 60?
61.
61 years old, always wanted to hunt the West, has never been to the West, or hunted the West, and wanted to kill an elk. He's got him with the Redemption.
The emotions, the joy, everything that came over me at that point was just kind of overwhelming. I mean, this was a lifelong dream of mine for 40 years, just been fulfilled. I'm out here in New Mexico in the beautiful mountains, with my good friend Larry. It just couldn't have gotten any better than that. It was better than anything I'd ever imagined all those years. At this point, after my accident, thinking I was never ever going to be able to get out here and get this done, it was just more than I could have ever dreamed.